Hello everyone, my name is Kira and I am a fish. Wait, no, I am officially back. I disappeared for some time because of vacation and family reasons, but now I am back better than ever. Today's subject will be the upcoming debutantes for Not Cry, Flins and Lauma. We will be discussing their kits, pros and cons, and their pull values. So let's get right on ahead, shall we? I sounded so American. Starting off very strongly with Flins, an electro polearm DPS who focuses on the new lunar charge reaction, which from his passive he turns the electro charge reaction into clouds that do lunar charged, like a recently released character called Inefa. What is a lunar charge, you ask? It's just electro charged but can crit. That's all you really need to know. His elemental skill is a simple electro infusion, but the caveat is that he also unlocks a new skill that does more damage and can be used right after. Think of it like Sinus Kit, very similar except his state is in the skill. The enhanced skill is further buffed up if the lunar charge reactions are triggered. His burst is a good chunk of damage that also gets buffed up by lunar charge and again unlocks a new special burst. Seriously, what is it with special skills today, man? But anyways, the new burst is even bigger damage, that's even bigger if you buff it up with lunar charge. Basically lunar charge and spam the hell out of your skills with your normal attacks in between. If you want something more feasible, the combos and the calcs and stuff will all be available on screen. Continuing on his kit, there's a new not cry mechanic called the moon sign. It's just another form of racism after Natlan, again. More not cry units, more damage, less not cry units, less damage. His first passive showcases that very well by buffing his lunar charge damage by 20% if two not cry party members are in the part. His second passive increases his EM by a small chunk of his attack. This is probably to make building him easier, because balancing attack for his passive and the EM for the reaction and then crit to actually do damage would be very hard, especially for a brand new 16 signature set can't pre-farm. His kit is very clearly designed to work well with the recently released Inefa, so it's sadly another situation of a DPS relying on a support for top performance. So basically like recently with Skirk and Escoffier, which I made an entire rant about at some point, and also with Emily, Kinich, Mavika, Kitlali, etc. It's just a trend now, whatever man. Thankfully, it seems like the drop-off isn't too big from current calculations and he can still comfortably clear all content he needs to. So overall, I am fairly satisfied with the character. Small interception from future Kira? No, I am not satisfied, not even slightly. The drop-off is massive. It's horrid, oh my god. So yeah, I take what I said, I'm not satisfied really with Flins. He's terrible. Without enough, he's dog shit. The damage is so ass, man. Anyways, back to the video. He is good, but nothing too meta breaking, especially because Taser of all reactions, it's very unique in that it's very flexible. It doesn't need always a on-field DPS, so it's not necessarily important until the HP bars get too big and then you need them, but that will be a problem in the game and not really a positive for him. Moving on to Llama, she is very interesting. She is a Dendros Catalyst sub DPS and enabler of the Lunar Bloom reaction. She turns every bloom from the team into a Lunar Bloom. Her kit is very long, but I shall do my best to explain it because really it's complicated. God. Her tap skill is nothing that big, but her hold skill is basically the biggest part of her kit. To use it, you need something called Verdant Dew, which stacks up when you do Lunar Bloom reactions. And then after holding the skill, it does a shockingly high amount of damage and gives another type of stack called Moon Song, which will be relevant later, so keep it in mind. She also reduces the resistances of Dendro and Hydro for 10 seconds, so basically a new Viridescent set, as usual. Anyway, her Elemental Burst consumes the earlier mentioned Moon Song stack to buff up all Bloom-related reactions for the team, including Lunar Bloom with something called Pale Hymn. Yes, it's another stack system, because why the hell not? But it's basically like Shenhe's Quills, that's all you need to know. It buffs damage, it scales on the amount of enemies, so less enemies means the stacks will go more. So it's actually good in single target. That's something I will go into depth later on. She also makes them able to crit on a base scaling of 15 crit rate and 100 crit damage, which cannot change and it can only be increased with another not cry unit in the team. Yes, racism again, we gotta love it, man. It's just everywhere now. This game is amazing. To briefly explain how Lunar Bloom works though, since it's very complicated, it doesn't actually change the scaling of normal Bloom. All it does is add the Verdant Dew stacks that I spoke of. But the first hits of her elemental skill are considered directly Lunar Bloom hits as per her kit wording, which is insanely strong because it increases defenses and has a multiplier that scales with character stats, making it by far the biggest hit dealt from her. Oh my god, this was long and convoluted, but hopefully now you understand. But now that the hard part is done, let's talk about her themes and potential. This character is very clearly designed for a future Lunar Bloom DPS, most likely Nefer if you want me to take a guess, given that she's, green. Similarly to Inafa, she is a character that is good currently but can only get better later on as a dedicated DPS comes out. Other than that though, she actually buffs Bloom by quite a bit, which obviously normally Nilu Bloom teams suck in single target. It does like very low DPS, around 40k. But because of the way her kit works, she buffs them up by a massive amount for single target, making them actually quite good for bosses, even if not meta, and then even better for waves, which fixes a massive problem that Bloom teams had for years by now. So yeah, looking at DPS calcs, they're good. Of course, Novelette is the best option in single target and in AoE because who knew he of all DPSs needed another buff after Inafa, just the typical Genshin stuff, buffing DPS every patch. We've gotten used to it. That said, other team options are still good. On top of that, she buffs Hyper Bloom by a good margin and makes it competitive even compared to the previous Nahida variants. If you're still confused after all of that, just do one Bloom in the team in the rotation before swapping into her, do a hold E, use her ultimate and switch out, and then you do big damage. That's all you really need to know, instead of researching it like a college paper. In conclusion, researching Llama made me want to die, but at least I made it easy for you to understand and hopefully her value too. Overall, she's a very good addition to the game. Her teams are already fairly competitive with the meta and are versatile in both single target and multi-target. To make matters better, she can only get better from here on out as we get more and more DPSs that might rely on rune reactions. So Nefer, other units, possibly Alice if you want to do like the Virgin route. But in short, she is amazing and will definitely be a meta support for a long amount of time. Now that I've explained both their kits and values, what have you decided? Will you pull for them or will you skip because you're loyal to other characters? Let me know down below. If the video was entertaining and informative, please like and subscribe. I'm a small content creator and I appreciate all of your support. Have a good day or night wherever you are, and bye.